Master Rule 6 is coming. With the advent of Jump Festa this weekend, we are at our regular 2-year cycle for radical, game-changing design and updates in Yu-Gi-Oh! This is the event where we had pendulums and, of course, link summoning. We don't talk about pre-link summoning revisions.
So here we see Toon Cannon Soldier, and now this is the combo game because he can just tribute off the Mermaid, summon a Dark World, bounce for Grapha, and rinse and repeat.
And it looks like Matthew's acknowledging that. So Jesse just showing and offering the handshake, and there it is.
Oops. What is Jump Festa? Well, it's anime. You know, cartoons, Full Metal Jacket, Demon Player, the usual culprits. Usually, the biggest announcements of the game, like I mentioned, come during the Jump Festa, so unless the pattern is changing after all this time, it's very likely something big could be happening with Yu-Gi-Oh! This year. I decided to get your feedback to try and find out what the best suggestions could be for a Master Rule 6 update in Yu-Gi-Oh! What will it be? Defense position field spells? Link arrow trap cards? Or my personal favorite.
How about, okay, a third pendulum scale?
I really hope not. I mean, Triff can barely count to potato. If you've been enjoying my content, then oh boy, you've become a part of an amazing, dignified boys club alongside our new Patreons, Apollyon, Muhammad, and that boy Shwali. Please don't sign up with any weird names going forward. Thank you. And of course, just one final meme suggestion. The Burst Summon. Burst monsters, like a pendulum monster, they have a secondary lore box. It's a text box, not a lore box. Holy shit, Burst Summon jump scare. Some people would argue that Yu-Gi-Oh! Has in fact gotten a little bit too complicated. You can probably make the argument that Konami has actually been trying to dumb down the game over the last few years, reversing the link rules with Master Rule revisions, introducing speed duels as well, for example, leads credence to this theory.
Hey, you're finally awake.
Ah, simpler times. You know, back in my day, the extra monster zone was, Distant chimes in with new changes. None. We have reached a sort of critical mass with Yu-Gi-Oh! While individually, each mechanic and each rule is quite simple. One normal summon per turn. Quick plays work like trap cards, but also spell cards. Counter traps are spell speed 3. Synchro summoning requires a tuner and a non-tuner that add up to a level. Nothing I just said is particularly difficult to understand in isolation. But when you compound this all together over the course of 15 years, this becomes a massive learning curve, and it's very difficult to absorb, process, and memorize all of this as a completely new player. For example, the COVID babies, the people who started playing at the start of lockdown in 2020. I know people with actual regional tops today that don't know how to pendulum summon. Just never needed to learn it. Didn't come up. Because the deck sucks. So I personally feel like the correct direction is less is more. But of course, some of you will disagree. They will announce the ban list reserve list, a list of cards that are never allowed on the ban list contractually, and the first one will be everyone's favorite field spell. This one sure aged like milk. Oh, and a reserve list. What could possibly go wrong? I'm sure this has never been done in another card game, to the great dismay of the community years later. Master Rule 6. Players can only summon X times per turn. You don't know how many times I've seen this come up over the years. This is almost as much of a miss as Harry Kane's penalty against France. Limiting the number of summons won't really help fix power creep or the speed of the game. Some decks special summon a lot, but don't really achieve much. Other decks barely special summon and really put up an annoying board. Invoked can put up an okay board with like 2 summons. Ritual Beast summon 19 times to search 1 pop. It's about how you use your summon, not how big it... Oh, God damn it. Sex in Yu-Gi-Oh! Least horny Dragon Maid player. Necro's trap card. Yeah, let's dedicate an entire festival announcement rule change to 1 card. For those of you that really want the context, Necros of Colossalas is a ritual monster that says you can discard it to search any Necros spell from your deck to your hand. In 2015, almost 8 years ago, Konami printed Colossalas in the Secret Forces with the text specifically saying that you can search any Necros spell / trap card. Where is it, Konami? Colossalas is legally enough to go to school now. I'm pretty sure at this point it's legally old enough to join the American military as well. Mystic Mine to 4. I only have a suggestion. 1 normal summon per main phase. You know, at first I actually scoffed at this like, Typical Farfa viewer. Have you been eating the crayons again? But if you actually think about it for a second, this is kind of cool. So many decks completely fall apart to a singular disruption on the one normal summon. What if you could just go again, with the trade-off being that you have to sacrifice your battle phase? And most importantly, there is no main phase 2 going first, meaning that this gives a significant game mechanic boost for going second, something which has very rarely been optimal to do in Yu-Gi-Oh! Giving a boost to going second, I actually don't think is too bad of an idea if you're also sacrificing your battle phase. Speaking of battle phase, Battle Overhaul. Monsters in this game stand there menacingly and are just glorified effects. Battle is so stale or only used to quickly normal summon to attack over a barrier statue. If you really think about it, the battle phase is unnecessarily complicated, with 7 total sub-steps dedicated to it just to resolve a singular punch to the face. Like, I'm just trying to dark magic attack here, not...
Well, actually, you must perform damage calculation and before the damage step, at which point the monster effect resolves after when it is flipped face up.
Hard once per turn master rule. I think I've seen people suggest this a lot next to the summoning sickness or limited number of summon suggestion. While this would obviously be a massive fix to certain broken interactions and cards from like 2007 becoming relevant again with nowhere near the design intention that they originally had, this would ruin so many cards who have a non-once per turn clause as part of an integral strategy. The Synchro Ignister monster, Sky Striker Engage, the Agent of Venus, Ronin
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
They better announce a Western Rush Duel release or I'm about to pull up. I'm hungry. I guess I saw this quite a lot in the suggestions. I've personally played, I think, a grand total of 2 hours of the Rush Duel Switch game, and it was okay. I wasn't crazy about it personally. But hey, if you're that dedicated to Rush Duel, then let me know in the comment section down below. I'm actually curious to see how many people care that much. Mystic Mine to 4. Extra deck to 17. Controversial. Something that people have been talking about a decade-long debate is to increase the number of extra deck monsters as the number of game mechanics, synchros, xyzs are introduced. Now link monsters, etc, etc, who knows what's next. Perhaps it's time we increase the number of extra deck monsters. I've got a dedicated discussion video on this topic coming down in probably next week, so stay tuned, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll break that down in complete depth for your tiny, small brain to understand. Maybe a better game. Of course. How could we forget the most important DLC in any game? Make it good. Hopefully they patch this in at some point. Master Duel update. Patch 1.7.3. Game's good now. Yeah, all they have to do is bring Tier Limit Ishizu to the game. What about Deck Masters? Ah, yes. Deck Masters, the classic Duel Monster Season 5, 4, season Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime season where they had deck masters, and during this time we saw monsters aiding their hero to physically join the field. I did an in-depth video discussing what a deck master is and how that could potentially function practically in Yu-Gi-Oh! I break it down with the possible effects and even example cards of what the mechanic would look like. If you're interested in checking that out, I would recommend it, or even better, if you want to see a new, updated version of this video 3 years later, then do leave a comment down below letting me know. But what is your daily dose of internet? Sorry, wrong video. What is your prediction for Master Row 6? What do you think is coming? Will it be the third scale? The burst summon jump scare? Leave a comment down below, follow me on Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, all the social media, LinkedIn, become a patron, join my Discord, subscribe, and until next time, adios.